We breaking bread, yeah. We breaking bread, yeah. We breaking bread, yeah. One conversation at a time. We breaking bread, yeah. We breaking bread, yeah. We breaking bread, yeah. One conversation at a time.
The Breaking Bread Village.
One conversation at a time.
The Breaking Bread Village.
One conversation at a time.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Breaking Bread Village. I'm so excited to have you guys back here today. And I'm really excited to talk to the guest that we have on our part of our village that came in today to talk with us just about her personal story. Right now with COVID going on and the flu season coming up and just all this talk about wellness and health and, medication and vaccines, I really wanted to talk about how to really heal the body internally, to really heal ourselves. And of course, yes, people may need different things, but a lot of things start within the inside of the body, the mind, the heart, the soul. So I'm going to go ahead and welcome our guest today. Greetings. Hey. She is over there working on herbs and stuff. She has stuff that she's getting together in order. So she is multitasking. And yes, always, right? Aren't we always? But I'm so happy that you're here today. Sevyn, I just want you to kind of just tell your story. I know when I first heard about you, I saw pictures of you where you look totally different as far as weight and just overall aura. And, now you just shine so bright all the time. And again, I don't want to make it seem like because you were heavier at the time, it was, not attractive. It was just the fact that you had a lot of health stuff going on. So I want you to go ahead and just kind of tell your story of, kind of like the self-discovery and how it all started with your health issues and things of that nature.
Okay, so it all started with the endometriosis and kind of, I would just, for lack of better words, mental issues. Manic depression, like severe depression, manic episodes, trying to harm myself. And then I was just in extreme pain, extremely uncomfortable. And like you said, it wasn't that the weight made me unhealthy or it made me less beautiful. Like I was always getting compliments saying, oh, you look better, and da, da, da. But I'm just like, I'm so uncomfortable. And I know from the inside out, I was not my best self. And it took a couple years for me to get to that point. I think it took like 5 years for me to say, hey, what are you doing? Like, I found out about the endometriosis diet and kind of how changing your eating habits can stop some of the symptoms, help with the symptoms. They never say, oh, it can cure this, because they never want to make those claims, but they say it helps with the symptoms. And I fought it for so long, I pushed it out of my mind. And I just started changing my body products first. And I was just like, okay, let me do little things, because I could see in my vagina how my health was affecting my whole being, like from inside out, from my mind to my womb down to my feet. And so I started with the products, and then that made some changes. But I was like, I wanted to have a child. This was the main thing fueling a lot of these feelings and emotions, was because I felt less than a woman. Like I didn't feel like a woman. Knowing that, okay, being able to have a child doesn't mean I'm less of a woman, but it's like something missing.
Well, society puts that on us. Society tells us that is what makes us complete as a woman, is to be able to bear children. So if you feel like you're unable to, then you feel like you're less than. So
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm sorry, I didn't realize my phone was about to die. But I got to the point where I was crying to my husband in the bathroom at work, and I'm just like, I need help. And he's like, well, do something. And I was just like, oh, well, snap. Do something, Janine.
Yeah.
I'm like, do something. So I finally broke down and I started doing the endometriosis diet, and I started making those little changes, reading food labels, making sure I didn't get certain ingredients in my body, which was mainly like soy and stuff like that, and being more mindful with my meat choices. That it totally opened up my eyes to how they do meat, how they do vegetables, what's in packaged foods, when I started reading labels and all that. And that opened the door for grand things. Okay. So finally, at some point, I got pregnant, surprisingly. I thought I had pneumonia because I had just had pneumonia. But I didn't have a pneumonia. Surprise, baby.
Yes, yes.
Very happy moment. And really, that happened because I allowed my body to detox.
Yes.
Like, even though I wasn't alkaline or taking herbs, I had stopped eating so many things, and I dropped so much weight, like 20 pounds at the time. I was really skinny, smaller than I am right now. But I had my body detoxed itself to a certain extent. But after I got pregnant, I listened to the doctor, and they told me that it was okay for me to eat whatever I wanted. Now, I don't really know better. I'm just like, hey, okay, I can eat whatever I wanted. I accomplished the goal. There's a baby in here. So I ate whatever I wanted. But that affected him to a great degree. Like, he came out with his hemoglobin low, a lot of his vitamins, his mineral, he had a lot of deficiencies and stuff like that. But after I got pregnant, or after I had him, everything was fine with the pregnancy, birth was perfect, but there's always these little things that we think are normal. Always these things. And then after I had him, at some point, I started bleeding a lot, like constantly. And the doctor told me, this is normal. You have endometriosis. You just had a kid. This is your period's coming back on. This is normal. And I'm like, this is not normal. Like, I'm bleeding all the time. I'm in so much pain.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, my milk production was like terrible. Come to find out, I need to take better care of myself. So one day I came home, I'm crawling on the floor in pain.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, I have to do something. At this point, I know a little bit about herbs. I've been trying to help myself. I went back to cooking my own meals, being picky about my ingredients, but I'm still like going through things. And I put that ginger tea on, I'm curled up in my ball, and I finally got my tea. And I just sat there and I was like, let me scroll on Facebook to distract my mental. Because like, I can make it through this. Let me just, and I saw Dr. Sevyn. I think the post said, man cures AIDS. And I'm like,
who is this? Who is this man? Yes. Yeah.
You know, my Gemini mind is like, interesting. Let me know more.
Yes, yes.
I was instantly hooked. I dug in, learning, and I went cold turkey. I know a lot of people can't do this, but I literally had hit a point where I was like, I want to be normal. Like, for my son, for myself, I feel insane. I feel crazy. Like, I feel like I don't even want to be in my body. Like, this shouldn't be like this. Like, so at that point, it was like all or nothing. What can it hurt? Like, I'm already in pain. I'm already suffering. I might as well go for it.
Right.
So I didn't hold back. I went right in. I went to the store. I grabbed the ingredients. I would not eat anything. It's not on the list. But it's not on the list. Just so people understand, for people who don't know, who may not know who Dr. Sevyn is, he teaches what he taught. He still teaches. His energy is still here. But he taught, electric diet, the alkaline diet. So this is what you're saying you started doing after you had already kind of eliminated some of the processed food, some meats and different things of that nature. Then you switched over to more of an alkaline diet, and that's what you're speaking of now. Yeah. Yes,
okay.
Those healing foods. And the point of it all, from my perspective and my understanding, is that you only put in you what your body really can use. Not that it even needs, because your body, technically, it needs nothing but for you to circulate your breath and for you to cultivate your energy. But when it comes to this food and our eating cycle, if you want to heal, you should only be giving your body exactly what it needs and nothing more. Like, That's the key thing. People are like, well, I do this and I do that and I'm healthy and da da da. But it's like, okay, but what are you giving your body? Are you giving your body what it needs plus more? So it has to deal with that? Or are you only giving your body exactly what it needs to do, exactly what you want it to do?
Right.
And that's kind of what I feel.
So let's talk about that. When you say what your body needs, and because I know me and you have had this conversation, and me and you understand this, but I want to make sure that people who are watching or who may watch later, they truly understand what we're talking about. When you say what your body needs, what do you mean by that in regards to eating alkaline?
The minerals, and just all the properties of the plant. So people think like, okay, let me use this example. People ask me a lot about like broccoli and cauliflower and things like that, or even dairy. Dairy is a big thing. Like, okay, dairy gives you calcium, broccoli and all that. It gives you certain vitamins, right? But what does it take for your body to digest those things? What does it take for your body to process those things? And that's kind of what I mean by saying only what your body needs. When you eat food, it goes down your esophagus, down through your digestive system, and your body starts separating things. First, it has to hit a point where your body absorbs what it wants, takes out what it needs, then it keeps on going down, and it takes out a little more of what it can use. Maybe it'll start fermenting things. Maybe it'll start taking things that are already in your body to be able to process what you have eaten. And then you flush out what it absolutely cannot get anything else from.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, you're kind of just like feeding your bacteria more than yourself. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yes,
So,
yes.
only what your body needs, only what your body can use to heal. Take my situation, like I had endometriosis. So I needed to flush my womb. A big part of healing your womb is healing your gut. I didn't need to be putting anything in my gut that was going to stay for a long time, sit there and ferment, add to the troubles of what's going on. I needed to get my nutrients, flush it out quick, keep on flushing out. And honestly, I didn't really get true full healing from the damage of the endometriosis. I stopped the symptoms from the jump, but just by eating alkaline. But I didn't get true healing until I stopped eating. Like I went on a strict fruit-only diet for almost a year, and that's when I experienced true healing. Because my digestive system got to really flush out, and I really started using what I was giving my body with the food because it didn't have anything else in the way. And I started flushing out crazy things, old dead blood tissue, like it was energy, everything. I felt a huge releasing, like explain it.
No, you know, and it's so interesting because, you know, I remember, of course, growing up, they always taught you, you know, the foods that you need in the different food groups and how much you need of this per day. And, you know, people really go by that. People don't understand that some of that stuff we don't really need, you know, it just, you know, it is a suggestion, but it's really not needed. And so I appreciate you for sharing that. And people don't understand some of the stuff that our bodies can sustain on. We can live on this, you know. And I really like how you said how you felt uncomfortable and almost like, and I'm adding this in, but you can feel trapped, you know, within your body, you know, when you don't eat properly, or, you know, even if you, because I know it's been times where, you know, especially when you go out of town, it's like, oh, I got to try this. I got to try this place. I got to try this place. And, you know, you eat all this food and you want to try this. I mean, you know, and by the time, you know, not even 30 minutes later, you feel uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what was the point?
So now I have to process all this. I have to digest it.
Yes. So wow. So it's just, so you're saying that it took you a year to fully detox your body to heal it.
Longer, actually.
Okay.
If I would have went all in from jump, like alkaline food, and started fasting and all that, it would have been faster. But for me, it's been 5 years now since I transitioned, and I can say, do I feel like I'm totally healed? No, but a great portion of the way, yes. Like but I have such high high goals for myself when it comes to my healing. Like, I want to be free of the human body expectations. Like, I would love to be free of the food and digestive, like the eat digestion cycle. Like, I want to be free of that. I don't want to have to feel a need for it.
So
It should be a
explain
want.
that. Yeah, explain that a little bit more to me when you say you don't want to feel a need.
So we feel a need to eat, like, okay, it reaches a certain point, it's like, okay, I need to eat something. For some people, it starts, they're stuck on the 3 meals at first. So we have these 3 meals a day that we've been conditioned to eat. So we feel like we need to eat those 3 meals. And then I broke it down to the Dr. Sebi diet, and I felt like, okay, I need 2 meals a day. So I felt like I needed to eat 2 meals a day. And then when I did the fruit fast, it was like, okay, I'm just eating fruit all the time. I really only need to eat 1 meal a day. And I felt like I only need to eat that 1 meal, and I wanted it. When it was time for it, I'm like, I want that 1 meal a day. It's like that all the time. I want those 3 meals, 2 meals, 1 meal. I want to get to the point where I don't need anything. It's just what I want. My body is content. My body can do what it needs to do on its own with the elements, with the environment that has been provided for it. It is equipped, an amazing machine to do what we've been created to do. We just kind of get in the way, and I want to step out of the way. Not that, oh, I don't want to be human like a lot of people say. It's just I want to be more in tune with my body. I don't want to keep getting in its way, and that's what I feel like I'm doing by keep eating things and keep saying, okay, let me detox and because now that's a buildup. Let me detox again, and you kind of get to a point where you're like, okay, let me exit that cycle. It's just I'm all about growth. Keep on
Yeah.
growing. Keep on growing.
Oh yeah, I mean we all should want to continually grow and evolve, and just kind of expand our minds, and our capabilities spiritually. So we should all be thriving. I mean, striving for that. I wanted to ask you. A lot of times, especially when people transition to more alkaline, electric food, we all kind of people learn how inflammation, right? Mucus, all that is what helps get eliminated. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because I try to tell people about how, almost when you really break down sicknesses or illnesses within the body, they most all stem from some type of inflammation or mucus. So can you talk about that a little bit?
It's like our body's defense. Our body's trying so hard to protect us, but it's going overboard. It's like
Yeah.
overly stimulated, overly stressed. But when our body, it makes that inflammation to try to protect us. The mucus it traps things actually. And that's where you get the sickness from, because everything's just trapped in you. It's not coming out because your body's like, oh, I can't deal with this. This is too much. Trap it, stick it there so it can't go anywhere. So your blood doesn't get septic. So, because once that happens, you're pretty much dead.
Yeah,
So,
you can be. Yeah, for sure.
Your body's trying hard to protect you, and that's what that inflammation is. And that's a lot of you're so right. A lot of sicknesses and illnesses, they're from inflammation and that mucus buildup. And when you start just getting out of your body's way and you start taking those herbs and stuff, it all starts coming out fairly easy. Your body will start cranking it out. Like, yes, finally.
Yeah. talk about some of the herbs that you create or love or gather, on your alkaline electric diet.
So I love herbs. To me, they're food. They're food to me. I absolutely love burdock root. Now, Dr. Sebi was all about the sea moss, but I'm all about that gobo. That's burdock root. It has almost as many nutrients as the sea moss, except it doesn't have as much iodine because it doesn't have that salt water.
Sure.
But I love gobo because its filling is not just medicinal, like it can actually be like food. And that helped me greatly to step down from feeling like I need to eat all the time, because it's just something small but highly packed with nutrients, and those are things that we need to give our body as highly nutritious things. So I love burdock. I love elderberry just because it's powerful with the antivirals, especially during this time. Sure. I love this herb called elecampane because it clears out the lungs like It's
Oh,
powerful.
I haven't heard of. So yeah, because I just made some tea yesterday. It's got burdock in it, and it has. I use a few elderberries, but and mullein, and that's what I use for like the lung part. But so what did you just name? I haven't heard of that. I don't think.
Elecampane, I use that with the mullein and elderberry too. So
Okay.
it's like
Okay.
it's the root of a flower that resembles a sunflower.
Oh.
So yeah, there's a bunch of different variations of sunflowers, and there's one you dig up that root and it'll clear out the lungs real good.
Oh wow. Wow.
And then my next favorite would be sage. I love all varieties of sage. That is
Yes.
a power plant. The more I journey through this adventure of life, I'm
Yeah.
discovering more herbs that are native to America that
Yes.
are super amazing. Like people are always talking about African herbs and South American herbs, but I'm like, we have power right here in our soil. There is
Yes.
sage, there is yarrow, there is St. John's wort, there's burdock, there's all types of stuff here that is just powerful and so versatile, from being antiviral and antibacterial to cleaning out wounds to healing skin to flushing out the body, helping you detox. Like it's amazing. I love sage, burdock. They do all those things.
Yes. And I want to talk about like right now, especially, we have COVID going on and, people are pushing, different vaccinations or different medications because, of course, also they're talking about, the flu season is coming up. So now they're kind of saying, coupled together, that can really be bad. I want to talk about how people can use these herbs, this lifestyle. I don't like to say diet. I said it earlier. I really don't like to say that, but a lifestyle change. You know what I'm saying? In regards to healing, and I want to talk about how we want to be more proactive and not reactive, because a lot of times we do understand that medication is a reaction to something that's already there. You know what I mean? That they're trying to fix or you're trying to heal. But when we are more proactive, so I'll talk about that a little bit, how the food can be more of a proactive method than a reactive.
That goes back to only giving your body what it needs and trying not to give it too much extra, because then your body can be working well. Like I said, your body is powerful. It's amazing, and it's built to protect you. Like you see how long we be kicking it, doing all the wrong things, and we're living it up still. So our body is made to protect us. It's just take care of it, make sure that it's able to protect you, and you'll be fine. Not eating things that cause a lot of mucus and cause a lot of inflammation, like dairy, those bad meats, a bunch of preservatives, and a bunch of different acids. Like they put a lot of different acids in packaged foods to preserve it. And if you let those things go, your body can be a little more balanced in its acidity and alkalinity, so it can work properly. And then using herbs, taking herbs like burdock root and elderberry, you can take, and sage, you can take those on a daily, and it helps keep your immune system boosted and working well. So it's supporting your body. Now, if you're not eating a bunch of junk, your gut is clear too. And there's a lot of lymph nodes in your gut. And I don't know, your lymph nodes are all over your body, and that's how your body filters things. So if your gut is clear, you're able to clear out things quickly as well. That's why I always tell people, cleanse out, eat well, take those herbs. And the kids, they can take baths and herbs all the time. People, any adults, you could take baths and herbs at any time. As I said, just drink it up, bathe it, use them all the time. Like they're supportive. These plants support us, and it goes hand in hand. Like when I was out in the wild picking these plants, I really felt like they were grateful. Like, please come pick me, come use me. All this time we've been sitting here, people don't even know what we are, and they're just sitting there blooming
in people's
getting
backyards.
their flowers dying.
Yeah. Right down the street from you. It's a lot of stuff right here. I'm in Michigan. It's a lot of things here within the city and of course you have to be careful, just so everybody knows, you have to be careful to make sure they don't spray, the different areas where you would get it. Because, a lot of times we like to put a lot of different chemicals on different parts of the land. But yes, it's stuff that's accessible to you that you can get for free.
Yes. Medicine all around.
Yeah. Now I want to ask you, Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna tell a story. Like we had these crazy plants growing out in the backyard. We didn't know what they were. They were a nuisance, actually. They grow so strong. And I started digging them up, and they were like the brightest, orangest roots. So I was intrigued, and I looked it up, and it was actually medicine. A bunch of medicine all across the backyard.
Oh,
just
wow.
like burdock.
Wow. See, I just think that's so cool. Anytime I see, people where they can live and it's, it's fruit trees or this tree or this plant growing, I just think that's so cool to just be able to go out in your backyard and just get a lemon off the tree. That's my ultimate dream. I love gardens too, but I want an orchard so bad, just where I could just kind of just pluck stuff. I just think that would be life for me. Okay, you talking about staying home? I can stay home with that. Okay.
That's all that's needed.
Yes, I love it. I want to ask you a question. And you can tell me if you've had this experience. I know, even for myself, or if I've been with somebody else, when you go to the hospital and you have an ailment or some type of issue, and the doctor says, okay, I'm gonna write you a prescription, and they name something that's like got 20 letters in it. You have no idea what they said. They write the prescription. We take it, we get it filled. We read the directions on there and we take it. If it's 2 pills with food, whatever. Do you find that when you try to prescribe, quote unquote, herbs, medicine that way, do people question you more? Because I feel like sometimes people don't question a doctor, but if you say, hey, you could try taking turmeric, or you probably wouldn't say turmeric, but ginger, you do, but I'm just saying, do you feel like people question you more when you try to give them a natural way of healing, as opposed to Western type of medication?
I would say at first, yes. And I can say when it's not sought after, yes. They're kind of like, I'm not sure. But from the beginning, I've always been like, I want people who seek. I'm not here to convince anybody. I'm not here to tell you what is or what isn't, because I'm not a doctor.
Right.
I want people who are seeking this and who actually want to learn, who want to experience, like they already have a desire. So they're not questioning me like that. They're not like, I don't know if that works. They're just like, okay, what is it? Tell me about it. What's his name? Want to learn more. And we're gonna see what it's like. Okay, let's go for it. I really get a lot of people who are eager and excited and ready, even if they're a little unsure, like, I don't know if this is going to work, but I want to try it.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much been my experience. Amazing people seeking after natural wellness.
Yeah, and it's really popular right now. People are really trying to go back to the beginnings, so to speak. Kind of search within to find different healing methods, because we're realizing that there is so much poison put into our foods every day, and we do have to have some kind of balance. Because your body literally will cry out, like it literally will, and that's why people don't understand. Like when you have these, abrupt things that happen when you end up in the hospital, or sickness or whatever, it is your body, like before it gave you different messages like, hey, pay attention to me. Hey, I'm hurting over here, that knee pain or that hip pain. Hey, this is inflammation, something's going on down here, something's in here.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we ignore it, and then finally it's like, okay, I'm gonna force you to sit down, I'm gonna force you to this. And that's what happens.
Yep. Your body will make you, like, at some point, like, okay, and you feel like I can't eat. I don't want to eat anything good. Don't. Your body's telling you, stop. I need a break. I have other things to do.
We have been so conditioned, though. Would you agree with that? That we have been so conditioned. I was looking at something earlier, and it was so interesting. There, so I watch the 600-Pound Life show sometimes, just because I'm just so intrigued by the psychological part of that, or just that's just how my brain works. So I was watching an episode earlier, a lady who was like almost 700 pounds, and she was real, kind of short in stature as well. But she was saying that she remembered when her sister was younger, her sister wouldn't eat her food. And because they were forced, you remember, I mean, I don't know if you ever had this issue, but like when we were younger, that you had to clean your plate. That was one thing.
Yeah.
And if you didn't clean your plate, you had to sit there until you finished it. And you could sit there all through the night sometimes, lights turned off, people don't went to, into their rooms, and you still sitting there, crying because you don't like lima beans. I couldn't stand lima beans for myself. Now, my mother didn't do that to me, but didn't do that with lima beans. But, that was the thing where you had to finish your plate. And so anyway, this lady was saying how, so her sister wouldn't get in trouble, she would always finish her plate. And that's where her unhealthy eating habit came from. Yeah, and it was deep because she was trying to protect her sister. So
can you imagine that ingrained psychology? Oh my
gosh. Yes. Yeah. It was really deep watching it because she was crying, of course, and trying to protect her sister. She was harming herself. And I just want to talk to you about that, about how we teach our children, we teach ourselves that it's rude or impolite to not finish your food because it's like wasteful. And it's like, I can package it up. I can, or you just get smaller portions. I mean, there's different ways to solve that, but this is that we've done to ourselves. Do you agree?
I definitely agree. I grew up with that, like the last tail end of it. I think my mom was big, finish your plate. I worked hard for that type of thing, like, which I understand, but I'm not eating that. We used to throw it in the trash when she wasn't listening.
Mine would be in the napkin, and mine would be in the napkin because I hated beans. Like, beans were so gross to me. The only time I would eat them is maybe kidney beans and chili. Like when it was all sauteed up together and simmered together. But by themselves, they were gross. I didn't like peas, so I would just put them in my napkin a little bit at a time. People walk by, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm eating other stuff, and then those peas, I'll be putting
just a little bit.
Yes, I hated them. And it's just so interesting how, now as an adult, of course, I realize that, we all are individuals, right? We all have things that we like. Our bodies kind of react to things differently. And that applies to children as well. But yes, but we teach our children and each other, we put pressure on folk like, girl, you about to waste all that? Or why you didn't finish your food? Or you just paid $15 for that. And it's like, I'm not hungry anymore, but we put that pressure on and not realizing that we do it,
Mm-hmm. Look, I tell my son, wrap it up for the next day or compost.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. I guess, I can understand money.
And do you think it goes back to, slavery or poverty? If you grow up, impoverished, or if things were hard to come by, it's that idea that you don't waste anything because it was so hard to come by. So it's this mentality, even if you, talk to people who grew up poor or grew up, always having to fight for something, they'll have their hoard, like tons of stuff. They have so much stuff. And it's like, why do you have so much stuff? And it's because they remember that not having it. Yeah, I'll never do that again. So I think that's where I'm. This is me just guessing in my brain working that might be where some of that mentality comes from.
A lot of it does. Like a lot of elderly people that I've worked for, I used to do home health aid before. I couldn't do it anymore. Yeah. But when I used to do it, a lot of elderly people, they are like that. Like they have poor eating habits. They'll eat things that they know they don't need for the simple fact that I didn't have growing up. Well, I didn't have this, so I'm not going to waste it. And, we grew up, we don't waste things. We eat whatever you want. I had my grandmother-in-law, I seen her eating eggs that were sitting on the table for weeks and weeks and weeks, but she's like, they're still good. I'm like, Grandma, no, they're not.
Right.
The eggs you grew up with, Grandma.
Yes. It's the idea that, I can't waste this. I can't throw it away. That's ungrateful or this, and that's the stuff that we have to unlearn, especially in this, when you are going through, like you say, that transitional period, when you're going to, a better life, a better way of living, you have to unlearn that stuff because that stuff is ingrained in you where, if you scrape that plate, at Thanksgiving dinner, you done threw away, people will, used to get in trouble.
They give you the side eye.
tell you how much it takes for the macaroni and cheese, how much, how long it took to make the gumbo. And, people will let you have it. So it's this idea that we teach that fear, man. So, we have to really unlearn that.
It's a lot of things that we have to unlearn. It's crazy.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, you talked about earlier about how you were, I want to go back to just kind of like your story a little bit in regards to self-harm, because I really want to talk about how our food and what we put into our body does impact our thoughts. It does impact the way we interact sometimes. It really does impact it. So can you talk about kind of a little bit more in depth what you were going through in regards to that struggle and how you knew it was time to make a change?
So I think a lot of it was like a couple like trauma, energy from the food, as well as just parasites. So
I had 4 boys at the same time, so I look, just keep talking. It's okay.
Okay, so yes, I felt out of my mind. Like I didn't have any control. It was like I self-harmed because I didn't want to harm other people, but I felt extreme aggression and rage. Like if I was triggered, I really wanted to hurt somebody else, but to not do that, I instead like harm myself. I felt crazy. Like I would bang my head against the wall, bang my face against the walls, cut myself, try to like take pills to kill myself. I really didn't want to kill myself, but I was just like, die. It was so weird. But when I transitioned, after like 3 or 4 weeks, I think, of eating alkaline directly from the doctor's every diet, no trend like veering off of it. I hit a point where I went through an episode of like withdrawal. It's the best way I could put it. I had like shakes, the body shakes, the not being able to control your temperature, the sweats, the body aches. Like I was literally going through a drug withdrawal. And after that was over, it lasted like a day. It was the strangest thing. It lasted like a day. And the next day I woke up and I felt like a totally different person.
Yeah.
Like something in my brain unlocked and lifted off of my brain, like a pressure. And I just felt so much freer. And then after I did that almost year fruit fast, I felt more in control of my emotions. I felt like I was able to detox things, and that at which each flush that I was doing over that year, I felt more and more release. And even after I detox, I felt like my brain is free. I felt like I'm clear now. I still felt, it was just things I was feeling inside, and it was hard for me to control like my throat chakra and my heart and things like that and my root. But after I went through a year of fruit fasting and really focusing on my breathing and stuff like that, I was able to unlock those things. It's mostly mental, but it's also a lot of like just bad energy put into the food. And those parasites are very, very real. They make you feel things. They will trigger you to want to eat things, so the environment will still be perfect for them. That's why a lot of people tend to backtrack, because it's like they have, they have these cravings. They like make you crave things, so you will eat them. So you'll be doing good. Oh, I'm eating healthy, Then you have this craving out of nowhere. And I always tell people, fight that. Fight that by all means, because those are those microorganisms in you trying to live and stay in an environment where they can thrive in. And they'll make you eat things. They'll make you feel things. So that internal environment is exactly how they want it to be. Your emotions affect your pH. Your emotions affect the health of your body. All that stress affects the health of your body. That's where a lot of major diseases come in, especially nerve ones like MS and stuff like that. It's your emotions. I even think a lot of endometriosis is emotional. You just holding it all in your womb, holding it all in your back.
Yeah, I think most things are. I think most things that we take in, people don't understand. That's where a lot of sickness comes from, in my opinion. All the stuff that we kind of suppress and hold in, it does. And I agree with that. I do.
But
You
yes,
got it?
food is very, very important, especially sugar and milk. Those things are like, they have chemical reactions in you and they trigger you just like certain drugs like morphine or opium. So you're playing mind games with yourself with the food. You might as well be in control of it.
Well, yeah, when you look at studies, I mean, they talk about how sugar is equivalent to like cocaine. I mean, they talk about
Mm-hmm.
that, how it literally is the same type of dependency, and it's just so interesting because when we talk about how the food that we eat or our dependency on it does have a lot to do with our emotional state, our mental state. That's why when people say, you eat to feel better, or what's that? What's the saying that you emotionally eat, or you kind of like
Mm-hmm.
snack when you're feeling bad, things of that nature. That's become a defense mechanism for us. That's something that we go
Mm-hmm.
to feel better, but really we don't feel better because, like I said, you eat something, it's good for that moment, and then you're sick the next moment, or excuse me, you don't feel well the next hour, or that night your stomach is upset. So
Yeah.
I think when we learn to really tap inside and really find that true peace, right, that inner peace, then we don't need that food as
Exactly.
that solvent, where it's the one that we're not looking for that to make us feel better, so to speak. We learn
Mm-hmm.
how to do it on our own, spiritually, or
Yeah.
however people wants to refer to it. You find a way to kind of self heal inwardly, as opposed to using that food. So
I'm so glad you hit that point. That's one of my main things when I'm helping people one on one.
yeah,
Find something else you enjoy that does not involve eating at all
yeah,
whatsoever.
yeah.
Like, find your peace without food. And a lot of people don't even realize that they're using food for
Oh
comfort
yeah,
or to uplift themselves. And they're like, oh, well, dang, I'm fasting now. What do I do?
yeah,
Something you enjoy now. You don't have to eat.
yeah. Yes,
But it's
yes.
good. It's good.
Yes. Well, I want to talk about real quick before I let you go. I want to talk about your website and kind of what you do. I want to put that up so people know that they can go to root7.org and support, and support you and support themselves. People don't understand that when you say support somebody, it's not always just for them, it's for you too. I mean, when we
Yeah.
invest, in our health, I just always think about how people. I heard a guy speak years ago, but he talked about how much a medical bill was. He started putting out all these numbers and stuff. And he said, okay, so people say, okay, when you buy this herb, or when you go see this specialist, or when you go, they look at the price, but when you compare it to medical bills, it's like, I think I'll go ahead and invest over here. You know what I'm saying? Be a little bit more proactive as opposed to reactive. So go ahead and talk a little bit about your site and what you do.
Okay. Look, to add to that, not even to mention the products you have to buy just to live and survive living that way on top of the medical bills.
Yeah,
But
like medicine or different things like that. Yeah.
mm-hmm. So my website is just, it's all about teaching people. The vision is to bring people together, people who want this lifestyle, who want to heal. I want to bring them all together to one place and let them see that it's possible. So when you step onto my website, there's a bunch of pictures of us throughout these last 5 years journeying and helping people, all the food that we've made, just to inspire you and to thank everybody for helping us to grow to this point. What we do on the website is teach classes about herbs, where I'm actually creating more classes to help people with transitioning youth to healthier lifestyle, transitioning the whole family to healthier lifestyle, and helping people to better understand the cleansing process. There are like little slideshows about detox. I have blog posts about detox. There's we have a medicine bar now. I love the
Oh,
medicine bar.
yes.
So you click on the
Oh,
website, you go to the web. The web is our store. I call it the web because it's not just my products on there that I made. There's products of other people who I know and trust, who are doing amazing, great things. And the vision is for more people to come and for more of us to be connected. Like, I just really got that vision from the beginning. Find your web, connect it, and
Yes.
together we're protected, we're whole, we're on a great mission.
Yes.
So you click on the web, and there's a medicine bar. You enter the medicine bar, and there is all the different categories of people's needs, all the things that so many people have asked me for, that I see a need for. They are right there. You need to cleanse, it's right there. You need youth care, it's right there. You don't have to go and search, what can I use? The information is there. The point is to teach. So a lot of what's on my website is to teach. And I encourage everybody, like, if there's something on there and you don't understand, please contact us, because we are always looking at that stuff. I have 2 business partners, because my mom, she helps me a lot, and then I have another man.
Your mom. Yeah.
Yes. He my other business partner, he's also there. So if any men feel like, hey, I just really need a man to talk to, there's a man here for you to talk to.
That's
if
important.
you're an older person, you feel like, hey, I just need somebody older to talk to who understand what I'm going through, there's an older person to talk to. If you feel like you need help with autoimmune disease, we've been through it. We're here to help. So that's our main thing, is connecting and teaching and providing. So the medicine bar gives so much information about how we do things, the herbs that are in the products. The difference between us and other herb companies is that I'm not big on sticking to a formula unless that formula is absolutely tried and true, and we're sticking to it, like the Root O2 and our Root Love blends, which are for general nutrients and wellness. Those don't change, but everything else is like, we're really tapping in. Okay, when we are saying more people are interested in this natural health style, natural healing and stuff like that, people are like on it. So imagine if we all just kept using the same herbs. Where are they coming from? How can you really say the quality is great with that stuff? Right. And we wildcraft a lot. We're talking, we're connecting to so many people. People live, they give me herbs for free. So, and this is from like different countries, different states from in the United States. Like, they're giving me wildcraft herbs that they pick for free, and or at a discounted price. And I'm like, okay, well, we can make this with this. We can make this with that. And so let me see. There's just herbs, they just do so many different things. So many herbs do the same stuff, and we want to continue to be versatile and be one with nature as well as with people needs. So that's how we do things.
Well, I think it's amazing. Excuse me. I don't know why my throat is doing this, but I think it's amazing. I know you and your mom work very closely together, and I think that's amazing. I think it's great that you invite other people in, onto your site to share as well, because it takes a village. And, it's sometimes where, I may not be able to do this, but you can, so we can come together. And because the whole thing is that the purpose is greater than us, right? The whole goal is greater than us. And once we realize that, we can work together. And I just want to tell everybody, you guys would not know it. She is a bit shy. But when she talks about, when you talk about this, you get so excited, full of life. So I love the passion. I love all of that. So, Sevyn, I'm so appreciative that you decided to come on today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, this is amazing. I love talking about health and wealth and just bettering yourself. There's so many different ways that we can do it, and it takes steps. I just encourage everybody to be patient with yourself. Take that step, even if it's one change today, don't be so hard on yourself. Show yourself a little grace. It's like, you've been doing this for 40 years, or you've been doing this for 50 years, or, 20 years. So it's time to do that transition, but just commit to something and, drink water. Please drink water.
Yes, please drink water.
Drink that water to help flush. I mean, especially if you eating all that stuff. Flush, try to help at least with something. So that's always a good first step. So anyway, thanks again for coming on today. I really enjoyed the conversation. And I encourage everybody to, check out her website. So much stuff there. And, encourage each other, support each other, and just remember that we all are unlearning and we're doing it together. So,
Yes, one step at a time, one day at a time.
Yes, yes, yeah, and one conversation at a time because sometimes people
Yes.
don't know what they don't know. So, we have to help each other out. So, again, thank you so much, and you have a great evening.
You too.
All right,
You
take
too.
care.
Bye,
Peace.
everybody.
Peace out. Awesome. Yes, you guys, please support Miss Sevyn Being, root7.org. Please go there and get some stuff because I've ordered from her before. It's always great stuff, and she's just very passionate about this. So I would rather support somebody that cares and actually is trying to do it from the bottom of their heart as opposed to just making money because, we have to help heal each other. We are all in this together. So anyway, again, you guys go ahead and check her out. And I appreciate you guys for another great conversation and being here and watching us here at the Breaking Bread Village. You guys have a great night. Bye.